A great philosopher once said that the pathways to freedom and progress can be a very long and sometimes winding one. We in Grenada have just completed the year 2000 and have said hello to 2001, the first year of the third millennium. Stay with us for the next 60 minutes as NPR Incorporated proudly presents to you, in Retrospect 2000, a comprehensive review of the events that affected us all as a nation. We do hope you will be enlightened by every moment of this very special 60-minute feature in Retrospect 2000. When all the hype of greeting the year 2000 was over, the government of Grenada was once again back to the job of administering the affairs of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. If anything can be said at all, it will be that they have made serious and progressive decisions that in the end affected all of us as a people. The constituency of St. Andrews Southeast received much attention during the month of January. The Honorable Brian McQueen, with support from two of his cabinet colleagues, visited many areas earmarked for development. Schools and environmentally friendly surroundings were on McQueen's top priority list.
That school is a very important school. They're very good at athletics, and I mean they have a very strong history. But we had the problem of the overcrowding in the school, you know. I understand the total amount of students is something in the region of 700, and only about 400 could be seated in classrooms. And if we have students outside of the school, you know, classrooms, so to speak. So I'm very happy to see at least we were able to do something. We would be having 4 more classrooms added onto the school. But that's not the end of it.
This market square, the town of St. George and Carriacou, is now the subject of a Caribbean Development Bank study. You've heard the Prime Minister say that $74 million were allocated by the CDB on the last appraisal tour in Grenada. This is particularly we expect within the 3-year period to have a brand new structure here, 3-4 stories, the modern type. So we must be careful in what we do and what we expect now, because we must do something that we know could be broken down in the next 2 or 3 years. That is why we're very careful in looking at extending the abattoir section to cover it and to remove it from the public and the children coming to look at as a spectacle, the slaughtering of animals and so on.
Ministers passed before and they always promised to do something and they never did until Mr. McQueen came in. So I'm very happy and thankful.
Being a caring government, we will really try to see what we could do to alleviate this situation. And it only took about 2 months, and I'm very happy to see the progress.
Taxation is a key element to the development of the economy of any nation. The Republic of China on Taiwan boasts of a very provident taxation system that is geared towards the overall sustenance of the economic and social landscape. Mr. Patrick Bubb, Comptroller of the Inland Revenue Department, made an urgent plea to the nation regarding the payment of their respective taxes.
There are quite a number of entities, business entities, even among the hotels, who should be filing whether they have to pay tax or not, and they don't file. It's critical, number one, to register, and number two, to file your return. The filing of a return is not really dependent upon whether you are liable to tax or not. The law requires that you file a return, and failure to file a return, there is a penalty of $100 or 10% of the tax due. We would like to encourage the public, for number one, all those defaulters, tax avoiders, and tax evaders outside there who are listening. We are not out to put you into prison. All that we are asking, come in, give us the basic information, register with us, and get your TIN number, your tax identification number. You may or may not have to pay tax.
But along the way, we were reminded of the strides the department has been making towards ensuring that their tax base is adequate.
There are four main obligations of the taxpayer as it relates to the payment of taxes at the Inland Revenue Department. One, all taxpayers must ensure that they are registered with the department. Once you're registered, you're told what your obligations are as it relates to the particular tax you'll have to pay, when you have to pay it, when you're supposed to file, etc. Another obligation is the keeping of records. All taxpayers must ensure that they keep basic accounting records at the place of business. And those records must be kept for a minimum of 6 years. That is in accordance with the statute of limitation. Taxpayers must also file their returns and file it on time. Even if you're not required to pay tax, you should file a return so that the department knows what sort of income you're generating in the particular business that you're in.
Okay.
And the fourth one is the payment of the right amount of tax that you owe to the department. Most of the taxes are self-assessed, and as such, the taxpayer would know what he or she has to pay even before the information gets to the department. So all taxpayers should ensure that they pay the right amount of tax and pay it at the right time.
Under the banner of punctuality, productivity, peace and reconciliation, the National Celebrations Committee made early preparations for Independence 2000, starting with the local rallies held in the various parishes.
We are at the turn of a new year, at the turn of a new century, and at the turn of a new millennium. And I believe that it is an appropriate time to turn over a new leaf. Punctuality not only shows respect for your own self, but more so it shows respect for other people. Because when one is late, it hinders the progress of other individuals, and it can hinder the progress of a whole nation. Apart from the calendar events, there are other events which support the timelessness of this theme. We are now experiencing a new economic order. No longer are our products protected in Europe, but they are exposed to the stiff competition, the tremendous competition on the international market. And so, the onus is placed on us to become competitive, because no longer are the sardines protected from the sharks, but the sardines have to swim with the sharks. It is now a time of survival of the fittest, and those who are most competent those who are most punctual, those who are most productive are the ones who are going to survive. And as individuals, we can survive by being productive and punctual.
And on February 7th, 2000, the new Queen's Park Stadium was the venue for the National Independence Day celebrations, a year that marked 26 years of nationhood for Grenada.
Francis, the British flag.
In his Independence Day message, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell encouraged the nation to develop a new sense of pride and uphold the laws and the constitutions that defines Grenada as an independent nation.
Sisters and brothers, we have much to be proud of, and so many opportunities to look forward to. This new stadium, our new ministerial complex, our new general hospital, which is now being prepared, and so many other activities in our country at this very special time. Statistics have shown that our economy grew by more than 6% in 1999, and the rate for 2000 is expected to be much higher. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate continues to drop as our economic base continues to diversify.
Our life on earth is merely a pilgrimage, as outlined by the scriptures. The Royal Grenada Police Force, and by extension the family of the late Bernard Brenty Thomas, was thrown into a state of mourning as they said goodbye to him. He has contributed 31 years on earth, 10 years of unwavering service to the Royal Grenada Police Force.
Your presence here in such large numbers is indicative of the fact that our late brother, Constable Bernard Thomas, was one who deserved such a presence.
Where there seems to be no way, He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to His side. With love and strength for each new day, He will make a way. Make a way. Oh, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to His side.
In Retrospect 2000, glimpses of yesterday.
February was a month of sporting activities as well. We caught up with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell at his alma mater's sports meeting at Tantine, where he participated in the Presentation College's historical Millennium Race. And how does the Prime Minister feel about a win that has nothing to do with politics?
Good. The showrunner Finbar House has always been a strong house.
Okay.
And I'm just happy to be here.
Okay.
I think it's good to have the old boys participating in this very important sports. And I am happy. But the idea behind the Millennium Race was, first of all, to get the old boys of the college once again involved in the activities and the life of the college. It's my opinion that the school community is not only the students and the teachers, but the school community is an extension of the old boys, the parents, and the students and teachers. And therefore we thought that the old boys of the college have not been really involved in the life of the college where we would like them to be involved. The second point is, I think a lot of times we talk to the students about the greatness of the college. And I think it's important that they have some kind of tangible interaction with the old boys of the college to let them see that it is possible for they themselves to be excellent men in society.
And while we are speaking about accomplishments, the Grenadian leader at a press conference to commemorate his first year in office spoke on the way forward.
We have been asked by the international community and the powerful countries, I should say, not the international community, because we are a member of the international community, to compete, to diversify, to modernize, to be more productive, to clean up our act in every respect, to educate our people, provide technological advancements in every respect for the society. We have been asked to do this, to deal with the drug lords. And as you know, we are not the source of consumption for drugs. They are indeed in the developed countries. We are asked to do all this with little or no resources. And we are doing what we can with little help. But while we are doing this, and we look at our tax structure, and we say, well, we are trying to be competitive tax-wise. Then they say, no, you can't be competitive with tax. You have to have a set method of taxation because you are being unfair. So when you're dealing with trade and goods and services, then you have to be competitive. You have to lower your price and do what they have to do. In fact, even the hotel area, they might be coming soon to say to us, you cannot give all these concessions to hoteliers because it's unfair competition. So it's unfair competition when we're dealing with taxes and we're lowering taxes so that we attract business. But when you're talking about services and of course trade matters, then they could afford to reduce their tax on goods and get enough business, and we cannot make any noise about harmful taxation practices as far as trade is concerned.
Like it or not, cricket as a favorite pastime is on the decline in the West Indies. So it was no surprise when cricket, that lovely game of cricket, was placed under the microscope in February as well.
I think probably should try and get more teams coming into the country, more foreign teams. I think that North Hampshire County Club is going to come down here sometime in April or sometime. I think that's a good gesture. Try and get more teams in. At least we got a big stadium there. At least we probably may get a game once or twice internationally. The West Indies went team towards the West Indies. So I think that I can bring more foreign teams, at least play a lot more games, at least invite people around. We got a big stadium there, so it's a lovely stadium. At least we got to make use of it.
The players understand their role, their responsibility to the public, to themselves, their family. Then, until then, we will still continue to do as we are doing, and it seems to become like England. No one series is played with a group of players. So no group of players could stay together for a long time because we started to get great. Remember in 75, 76, we got licks 5-1.
Yeah.
5-1, we were beating Australia. Mm-hmm. And after that, the Kerry Packer thing came about. You had a group of people stay together for a long period, become a family, and out of that family, grown and West Indies success out of that. And then you have other people now aspiring to become part of that family, to get in. It was difficult to get in, but then having gotten in, there is a general, you don't have to rise to the level. Once you get in, it's an automatic thing, So I have hope. I still have hope.
During the period 1984 to 1987, the rural electrification program got underway. Most of our rural communities received electricity for the very first time during that period. NPR was there when for the first time, lights were brought to the small village of La Poche.
It's a basic and fundamental service, and therefore it is a right and responsibility of every government and any corporate organization to ensure that every citizen in the country has basic services, and electricity is indeed a basic service.
I have seen a dream come true, and I'm very happy about that. And that is an indication to other villages and communities like La Poterie that this government is a good government. When we say we are going to do something, we usually end up doing it. However, that is the journey just start. You would have road, electricity, telephone and water, but that is not all. Very soon you will be asking for better housing condition. And of course you will be coming to the government and we will of course give it to you.
And still on the topic of people's empowerment, persons in St. John's who have been affected by the November 1999 storm surges were bequeathed with assistance from the Honorable Clarice Charles to make a new beginning and to build a positive future.
We were looking for lands for about 12 to 13 people. Some of them were damaged by the sea surge, but there are some who are not damaged, but they have to be relocated due to their proximity to the sea. However, presently in this area, as you can see, we only have 8 house spots. So we're missing 5, and some by the river who need to be relocated. So you're speaking about maybe a dozen more house spots that we have to look for, but not in this area. We will get the house spots up at the other end. We hope to get about a dozen up at that other end, so that eventually all the people who need to be, not nearly all, but most of them who need to be relocated or who want to be relocated will find a house spot. And Nero, the Red Cross, and other agencies and the government are helping with the relocation process, the material and everything. And the community coming together for the labor and whatever refreshment.
I'm of the rough sea. I slept about 3 nights in the Anglican school, me and my mother and my family. And then I have to leave the house because the sea was rough. All the water was coming inside my back room. All under the house was water. Okay. So I make up my mind to move. As far as they're helping us out, I make up my mind to move.
Okay, and you move to this area?
Yes, and I like this area. I'm happy about it.
With my experience in the storm surge, it was really terrible towards the sea. It is something I never experienced before. We've been around the area for years, over 25 years. I never seen the height of that sea and had trouble with the sea.
Alright, so as a result you have to move here?
Yes. Because the sea really damaged. When I thought the sea would have just passed as before, it was not so. It was very serious. So I'm very glad I'm up here because I see most of the fishermen, the people around this area, the people in Gulf, and most of them fishermen who are here. So I'm glad to live up here.
One of the many hallmarks of the present administration is the very ambitious housing programs it has sought to undertake. In July, the Diamond Housing Project in St. Mark's was the boast of the parish, and it is expected to be the blueprint for other housing development projects across the state.
And since in our budget and in our commitment to the nation, we have said that we are going to address the poverty situation, poverty alleviation. This does not really address the situation for the poor, but it is a start because we cannot only be thinking of those of the lower income, we have to also take care of those of a higher income. But our first priority, I think, should go to those of lower income. However, because of the circumstances involved in this project, we got the opportunity to build these houses, and we were happy to have it perhaps for the middle and lower middle income. However, the next project would be really my true dream, to have a lower income. And I use this opportunity here because we have the board members present to impress upon them the urgency and the importance of having a low income housing project for our people. We have lots of lands here, so that is not a problem. The board has assured me that this would come on. And I want to assure the nation that we are committed to answering the needs of the housing problems in this nation. It is going to take time because it involves a fair amount of money, and there are other financial commitments of this government that have to be taken care of. But I'm sure that within the next 2-3 years, we will see such projects happening in every constituencies, in areas where it's most needed, and in areas where the lands are available and conditions will permit. Certainly this government will answer the need of the nation.
Yeah, I think I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing, you know, and I hope the potential buyers would take a drive up to Diamond and look at the houses, you know. I think it's what we call middle income, you know, young people, and you could see they're very nice. So we're very pleased with that, and we'll continue building a few more houses, you know. And I'm very happy, very excited.
The healthcare reform program is expected to receive extensive attention during the year 2001. In fact, the next budget on health should focus very much on the decentralization of hospital services with able assistance from the Pan American Health Organization. For this, the year 2000, health and the construction of the new wing at the General Hospital was very much in focus.
Well, in the first place, we will be able to expand the medical services that we have been offering. As you would probably know, there are many medical needs which we cannot at this time provide for our nation, for which they either have to go abroad, mostly by their own means. In some instances, our Ministry of Health does provide financial assistance when it is possible, and depending on the circumstances. And in other instances, when they cannot find the means to go, then they just stay here and continue along with whatever illness or ailment they have until one way or the other a decision is taken by the body. So at this time we are contemplating, and we have planned to implement new services like cardiology, like nephrology. We realize that there is an increase in the incidence of cancer worldwide and also in Grenada. We are still waiting exact statistics, but doctors from the experience have told us that there is an increase in the incidence of cancer as they see it. So we are also planning to implement cancerology treatment or chemotherapy for our patients.
All the stakeholders of the health sector were reminded of the critical role they would have to play as hospital services are improved and expanded. Many Grenadian citizens are counting their blessings for the many miracles that have occurred in their lives. The Pacemaker program, introduced here in May of 2000, has been successful, and since then, 4 Grenadians have benefited from this program. When Dr. Mark Lanzieri and his team came calling, NPR was given the opportunity to speak with grateful citizens.
That in order to get the operation, I had to get a pacemaker. I got it through the American doctor, came here through the School of Medicine, and then I was able to take the prostate operation. So I got 2 operations, one in May of this year and the other in June.
Well, it's only last night. I feel a little pain here and up to this morning, you know, and it gave me a kind of a dizziness. But all for the few days past, I was all right.
There are 3 parts to the procedure. The first part of the procedure is to open the skin underneath the collarbone and create a small pocket, a small area within the muscle where the pacemaker can rest and perform its function. The second part of the procedure is to insert through the veins of the chest a large electrical filament called a pacemaker lead, which takes over the function of the diseased electrical fibers within the heart of the patient. This lead is placed through the heart chambers and attaches itself to the inside of the heart muscle. This lead is then attached in the third part of the procedure to the battery pack, which is the small metal device that is placed under the skin. This contains a lithium battery with a life of about 6 to 8 years and a small microprocessor that allows us to regulate the function of the pacemaker through the skin without needing to open the pocket at a later time.
Nations across the globe celebrated World AIDS Day on December 1st, 2000. Statistics from the Pan American Health Organization for last year has revealed that apart from sub-Saharan Africa, the Caribbean region is the second leading region in the world with the highest prevalence rate for AIDS. This is cause for concern not only for world leaders, but for local health officials alike. In July, Sir George Alleyne of the Pan American Health Organization made the dangers of AIDS apparent during a 2-day visit to the Spice Isle.
In the Caribbean region, we reckon about, at the end, in the adults and children estimate to be living with AIDS, some who know it and some who don't. That there are 360,000 persons in the Caribbean region who are living with HIV/AIDS, of the total in the world of 33.6 million persons. And if you look at the population in the Caribbean as opposed to the 6 billion people in the world, you can see, in fact, 360,000 compared to 33.6 million, there are proportionally a lot of persons with AIDS in the Caribbean. The next one. That the Caribbean is second only to sub-Saharan Africa. Of the 12 countries with the highest prevalence rate in Latin America and the Caribbean, 9 are in the Caribbean. And it is a fact that the HIV/AIDS epidemic, which formerly, when it started, was restricted to a small group of persons, has now spread into the general population in countries like Bahamas, Barbados, Guyana. It is no longer restricted only to homosexual males. It is no longer restricted to prostitutes. It is in the general community.
You are watching Glimpses of Yesterday in Retrospect 2000. When we return, see your government in action and other events making the calendar of events for 2000.
I am George Brizan, and I am among the thousands of Grenadians who are living with diabetes. I have been a diabetic now for 33 years. If you are diabetic, it does not mean that you have come to the end of your life. If you are a diabetic, you can live a long and healthy life. Remember to take your medication on time. Remember to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. Eat your meals on time. Eat selected provisions like green fig and blugger. And always measure your blood sugar at least once a day. I do all the things a diabetic should do because I want to be around my family for a very long time.
One very important decision was made by the OECS last year. It was the passing of legislation to secure competition in the telecommunications sector. This would ensure that businesses in that sector remain competitive. In an effort to become more customer-friendly, innovative and competitive, the Grenada Postal Corporation made moves to improve its main facility at Burns Point, thus being able to remain competitive among other leaders.
Every organization must be cognizant of the fact that it operates in an era of competition where only the best can survive. Our facilities need to be on par with others if we are to retain our clientele. We need to understand that we have to create incentives for customers to continue doing business with us. We need also to promote as widely as possible our product offerings. I am very positive that the clientele of the Postal Corporation will be very pleased to continue doing business with the corporation in its newly refurbished offices. People have a way of linking improved facilities with improved services. With this in mind, I wish to encourage all members of staff of the Postal Corporation to deliver quality service to your customers. They will be expecting of you increased performance, productivity, and proper attitudes. Additionally, all Grenadians will be expecting you to take responsibility for the facility and ensure that it is maintained at acceptable standards.
Well, we're going to be seeing a lot of sophisticated online services coming to the post office, and at the same time we are expecting to actually enhance the services that we now have. Express mail service, we are thinking about island-wide local courier service. We are looking at plans of developing the mailbox services, having a business classified boxes, and we have domestic for residents. So these are the kinds of things we expect to enhance the postal service on the island.
Although the year 2000 was seemingly thrifty for the cruise tourism sector, Grenada was able to accomplish several milestones in the travel and tourism sector last year. 4 new regional carriers have graced the Point Salines International Airport, bringing with them a wealth of travel experience and economic benefits to our local tourism sector. The first was Eastern Caribbean Express.
3 years ago when I visited, I think it's about 3.5 years ago, Alan, when they launched the Montego Bay Hub, Mr. Butcher told me then that he'd have a phase 2, and on phase 2 he'd be coming to Grenada. He made a promise and he kept that promise. A little later I met him and he said he's coming on stream with EC Express.
And the reason why we brought in this company is because we felt that there was a need to support our flights. So for instance, with EC Express, we have a New York flight into Grenada. We also have 5 flights a week into Barbados. It means that we're now going to be able to augment our service into Grenada and provide Grenada with a daily New York service. Now the interesting part about the relationship is the same price that you would pay to travel New York to Grenada on our non-stop service will be the same price that you're going to pay to fly into Barbados and connect over to Grenada on our EC Express service.
And while we are talking air transportation, Grenada's gateway to the world, the Point Salines International Airport, received the much desired extensions and improvements to its existing facility.
The airport has been operating for a while, and what we realize is that in order for us to compete, for us to be able to get more and more people coming into the country, we need to expand on the facilities, and that was the reason why this decision was taken to improve the airport. We are looking at the runway in terms of some surfacing of the runway, apron, we're looking at the whole counter space so that when you're going out and when you're coming in, there will be more persons there so you don't have to wait in long lines. In terms of having the place conducive, in terms of air conditioning the waiting areas, because as you know, when you come from a cold country, especially when you come into a hot place and have to be in there, it is not very welcoming. So what we're trying to do is to make the environment as friendly as possible so that everyone can feel comfortable in that environment.
It was estimated that in the year 2000, the level of criminal activity in the nation has increased significantly. Statistics from the Public Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force lends authenticity to that fact. One of the actions the force plans to take is to ensure that more stringent measures are put in place to deal with the proportionately high level of criminal activity in the state. Community policing forms part of those measures.
Canadians should be alarmed with the recent spate of violent crime because it is not unique to our situation. Yesteryear, when the Royal Grenada Police Force had to deal with 4 and 5 murders. That to us was alarming. And today, we have in the first quarter of 2007 such murder reports made to us. That, as is said in the press, is an unprecedented figure. But we, the members of the Royal Grenada Police Force, will do everything within our power to ensure that those reports are thoroughly investigated and the perpetrators brought to justice. And what is significant this year 2000 is that we have as our police theme building bridges of confidence and public support. And as such, that in itself indicates the embracing of each other, the police embracing its citizens. Therefore, the working relationship is harmonious, and we believe that it will be growing steadfastly because we are introducing a program called community policing, and as such, the community will be seeing a policeman in their village, and that policeman would be like a father figure because he would be seen as the first line of approach in that regard. So the community's problem could be relayed to him, and he in turn relate to us in mainstream, and thereon we can proceed to deal with those offenses or matters reported to us.
And the Minister of National Security lends some concerns as well.
As your Prime Minister, I am compelled, therefore, to refer to the growing tendency by an increasing number of our citizens who believe the right to do as they please with total disregard for their fellow citizens and other residents and visitors alike. We need to ask ourselves at this special time some very serious questions at this time in our history. What is happening to mutual respect in our society? What is happening to respect for institutions, our parents, our teachers, police officers, and other leaders in our community? What is happening to respect for the laws of the land? Why do drivers feel it is the right to ignore traffic regulations, thereby threatening the lives of passengers, other drivers, and pedestrians? Why do people leave their animals to roam and destroy the properties of farmers and others? Why do people construct buildings everywhere without first getting the authority to do so? Why do people hurl insults at each other, behaving in the most discourteous manner? Why do people reject patience and lash out violently at our fellow citizens, other fellow citizens? I put this question, sisters and brothers, to each and every one of us, and implore each and every one of us to examine our own lifestyle and how we relate to our fellow human beings at this very special time.
The government and people of the Republic of China on Taiwan continue to be a very special friend to Grenada. Since this Far Eastern state established ties with Grenada, they have made contributions that will be embedded within the annals of Grenadian history for a very long time. Education is a very key element to the nature of existing diplomatic ties. Dr. Mitchell was the recipient of a check geared towards enhancing Grenada's educational base.
The last 5 years, Taiwan has given us significant support in the building of our infrastructure. That has provided tremendous jobs. It has also helped in lifting the spirits of the rural community. It has also helped the farming community because many of these roads were feeder and farm road areas. And it has helped, of course, to increase interest in the agricultural sector, which, as you know, is so essential for the development of our Grenadian society. So we are particularly proud of this relationship.
On this special occasion, may I pay tribute to the Grenadian government for the great importance it has attached to education, especially at the time when we witness even more rapid pace of scientific and technological change. I sincerely hope, through our joint efforts, the ROC Scholarship Program will fit the purpose and will be even more successful in the years ahead. I certainly hope there will be more Grenadian students who can benefit from this important program in the years ahead.
Students from the St. George's Northeast constituency also benefited from the Taiwanese Education Assistant Program.
I have noticed that the Ministry of Education has continued to make improvements on the ROC Scholarship Program. As you may know, this is a 10-year scholarship program, and starting from this year, the Ministry of Education has adopted a voucher system so that all the students or the recipients can exchange for school books, school supplies from the shops they are going to. And I have also noticed that this year we have more students applying for this scholarship. That also shows that the ROC scholarship has been more and more successful as time goes on.
This initiative is intended to assist in the development of education in our community and in Grenada generally. 2, it is intended to assist those who understand the need to educate their sons and daughters, but because of their limitations in terms of not being able to procure the monies or the materials themselves, but who understand the need to do so, have voluntarily come forward to the representative and to other members in the community, and in some cases to the principals and teachers of the schools, to indicate the problems that they were facing in educating their children.
Another partner in Grenada's educational development last year was the Ministry of Communications and Works, working hand in hand with the Ministry of Education. As a team, they were able to bring much needed improvements to many of the nation's schools.
If we are talking about education, we have to put our mouth where our vision is. And of course, this government has a vision of improving the education and the educational facilities of the young people of our nation, and that is why it has responded and responded so positively.
There is one consensus really that we need to continue universalizing access to secondary education. It's very clear that if we're going to meet the challenges of a globalized world, and that's a buzzword now and almost a cliche, but we have to keep on saying it. We have to ensure that a significant proportion of any age cohort is able to access secondary education. We cannot lay a platform for national development looking at access only to primary and minimal post-primary education. We have to look at universalizing secondary access to education.
On behalf of all of us at the Woburn Methodist School, let me take this opportunity to thank you for, first of all, enabling us to feel more comfortable as a result of the recent repairs done to our school and gracing us with your presence this morning. We appreciate the fact that you left your busy schedules just to be with us.
You see, remember, our mission is a reduction of poverty, and the reduction of poverty must be overcome through education, educating our people. So this institution has a lot to do, building of infrastructure. And the fact that they give you quickly means that it ensures that the assistance goes to the root of the evil that we want to eradicate. which is poverty. And again, I really want to place on the record our thanks to them. As I said, not only for the assistance, but the way they've given it. It stays in Grenada, and the local and small man benefits.
I wish to make the point that over the last few years, the Ministry of Education has come to realize that the physical condition of our schools has deteriorated very badly, and that it would take quite an immense amount of funds in terms of our ability to bring our schools to a condition of which we can be proud, a condition that will enable the teaching learning process to take place effectively, so that in the end our children will be able to benefit from a good education. In 1999, because of the poor physical condition of schools, approximately $13 million was spent either on building new schools or on extending or refurbishing existing schools. For year 2000, a total of $3 million was budgeted for refurbishment only. We have come to realize that already $3 million have been spent and that we still have a long way to go.
Domestic violence as a social malaise has been and will continue to be a major issue of debate among Caribbean and Grenadian nationals alike, but it is time to break the vicious cycle.
What we want is to have a society where everyone will feel safe. Men, women, boys, girls, child. And as Ms. Peters said, it starts in the home. Not in the schools, not in the communities, but it starts in the home. If a child is brought up in an environment and every day this child sees his mother is beaten constantly, this child will go out into the school and feel he can beat up on another child in the school. Then this child will get older and go out to work and feel he can fight in the workplace. And it goes on and on and on and on. And eventually what you will find, if it's a boy, he ends up in the Richmond Hill prison.
So domestic violence, although it is private pain, but it is a public issue. And we should all take responsibility for looking after each other within our community. It's no longer a thing where a man just beating up his wife inside a house. It is private pain, it is your pain, but it is a public issue.
I think our women folk must come out more. They should take opportunities open to them and don't be afraid to talk out, because when you do that, you give the men an upper hand on you. And it's high time women take their rightful place in society.
Who says dreams don't come true? Well, Doyle Douglas was one of the few Windward Islanders to score big on the Win Lotto game. And from all indications, this game is growing.
Well, let me, on behalf of the National Lottery, present you with this check for $765,000, and let me say congratulations to you. I don't think this could have come to a more deserving lady, Ms. Douglas. I think your face and your profession, your involvement in commerce in this country is well known, and we think that this should help you a long way. And I feel a great pleasure. I don't want to let go of your hands. I just want to make sure you just keep holding.
On the sister isles of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, emotions ran high over two issues that seems to be very close to the heart of Representative Honorable Elvin Nimrod. First, there was the contention with the roads, which are now being done under the multi-purpose project, and then it was the relocation of the Hillsborough Vendors Market from its present location to a more suitable and convenient location.
Do you go to shop up at Eddie's Dream? Is that too far for you? Well, where is far? Can't we really make a little sacrifice so that we could make this place better for our children and for future generation? Why are we resisting change? My dear people, look again at the market. You can't even see the police station. The police can't even see what is happening in front of them. Why we believe that it is such a problem to move this market so that we can have better facilities.
Ladies and gentlemen, you should be the real judge.
None of us can deny that the roads nationwide are very bad. None of us can be proud of the present state of the road, and none of us can escape our responsibility to work together to make sure that we have the best network of roads throughout this state. My dear people, although this government has inherited the problem of the bad roads through neglect of previous administration, this government fully accepts and acknowledges its responsibility, not only to make sure that we have the best roads, but also to improve the quality and standard of life.
And how could we speak of so much and not be reminded of the contribution our religious and spiritual leaders were able to make to our country this year?
The Arabian Peninsula was in a position in which, first of all, women were buried alive, because there was a time in which might was right. So if you have more boys in the family, of course you have a bigger clan. So women were buried alive. Now we are getting back into a situation in which that kind of barbaric times are coming again, as you can see. The whole concept of wife beating, immorality, and in fact we are getting back into a situation where people have now reverted the word from Almighty God to Almighty Dollar.
And the only power there is in Grenada to change the lives of the people in Grenada is the power of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
All the praise he's worthy of, I've been forgiven, and that's why I love him so much. I've come to pour my praise on him like oil from Mary's alabaster box. Don't be angry.
Susan Taylor once wrote that being fearful is like living in a prison without walls. We must have the will and the courage to guard against negative thinking and to make room for more positive, life-supporting thoughts. For the last 60 minutes, I have been your host, Kellen Buck, along with co-host Sherry and Noel, cameraman Byron Griffith, and the entire production team at National Public Relations. Do have yourselves a productive, prosperous, and spirit-filled 2001 from all of us here at NPR.
In white satin, never reaching the end.